Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm showing you how we installed this 10,000 pound Atlas PVL10 2-post lift in my shop. The first thing to do was unpack the lift. This 1,700 pound package shipped to my local freight terminal, and we were able to trailer it back to my shop. After separating and inspecting all of the parts, we were ready to start the install. Andrew and I first lifted up each post and walked them into place. This lift is over 11.5 feet tall, and I have 14-foot ceilings in my shop, so I have plenty of room. Now this PVL10 is an AL certified lift, meaning that it has gone through a series of tests and evaluations to ensure that it will be safe and reliable. Once we got the posts in the general area where I wanted the lift, Andrew began to measure so that we could have everything perfectly lined up. It's important to take your time when measuring, because you pretty much only got one shot at making it right. Chalk lines help ensure that you're perfectly lined up. Before we went any further, Andrew and I installed the lift extensions loosely so that we could make final adjustments when installing the overhead beam later. After ensuring everything was lined up and level, it was time to drill into the concrete. Andrew used a hammer drill to drill the holes into the concrete. This too is a slow process, and so it's important to take your time. This particular lift requires a minimum of 4 inches of concrete at 3,000 psi. My slab in this particular area where the lift is set is at 6 inches at 3,000 psi, so I have plenty of concrete to hold this lift in securely. Also, before hammering the anchor bolts, we use compressed air to blow out any remaining dust out of the holes. This ensures that the anchors go in smoothly and don't bind, so it's important to note to wear a respirator because concrete dust is horrible for your lungs. Next was to hammer, 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 and hammer some more on all these concrete anchors. Once in, they were bolted down and given a final torque of 150 foot-pounds. Andrew installed the mounting brackets for the overhead beam with the provided flange bolts. He also installed the rubberized cable guides for the safety lock cable. We then installed the overhead beam. The large overhead beam simply bolts together and can be adjusted depending on how you set up your lift. Andrew also installed the safety bar. This is designed so that when the lift reaches its max lifting height, the lift will shut off safely. Next, Andrew assembled the safety lock mechanism. These safety locks are what the vehicle will sit on, ensuring that your post isn't going to lower on its own. Once the locks were in, we were able to lift the post up and begin to run the cables from post to post. With this done, we were able to add the motor assembly on the post, and then we started running the hydraulic lines from post to post. Before Andrew could get the lift wired up, I had to have the rest of my shop hooked up to power. This took a few weeks to wait for the electricians to do so. Also, in the meantime, I had the floors epoxy coated in a gloss white, but more on that on a future video. With the power to the shop, Andrew wired up the lift. The whole process is Greek to me, so I let Andrew work his magic. Now we were ready to add the hydraulic fluid and bleed the system. This lift uses ISO 46 fluid, which is readily available at most auto parts stores. Bleeding the system ensures the lift rises smoothly and evenly. Finally, we finished by installing the lift arms. Andrew added grease to the pins and assembled the gear mechanism. The long arms, or the ones that go for the back of the vehicle, sit on the front of the lift as you're facing it, and the short arms, or for the front of the vehicle, are on the back side of the lift. With everything together, we tested it by lifting my 2020 Ranger on it. And if you listen, you can hear the locks engaging. Now, albeit unevenly, but don't worry, it takes a bit more of bleeding the system and adjusting the cable tension to get it just right. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm excited to put the lift to use. It'll make working on vehicles much easier than having to lay on the ground. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.